I suspected my wife was planning a divorce, so I moved my assets. 2 weeks later, she filed, then backtracked when her plan backfired. I've always been a man of patterns. My wife, Sarah, thought she was subtle, but I noticed when the patterns shifted. The late nights at the office that didn't match her billing cycles. The way she started holding her phone like it was a live grenade. And finally, the folder I found hidden in a stack of old magazines in the guest room. It was a consultation receipt from a high-end divorce attorney. Dated 3 months ago. I didn't scream. I didn't confront her. I didn't even cry. I just felt a sudden, freezing clarity. If she wanted a war, she was going to get a silent one. I knew Sarah's plan. She was waiting for my year-end bonus and the vesting of my tech shares. She wanted the house, the liquid cash, and a hefty alimony check based on my peak earnings. She was staying in the marriage just long enough to drain the vault, so I started moving. I didn't do anything illegal. I'm not stupid, but I am thorough. I contacted my brother, who runs a private equity firm. I invested heavily into a series of long-term, illiquid ventures that were technically high risk. I sold my shares and funneled the capital into trust accounts for our kids that neither of us could touch for 20 years. I took out a massive, legitimate business loan against the equity of the house to expand a startup idea. On paper, I went from a wealthy executive to a man drowning in debt and locked up assets within 14 days. I looked like a financial wreck. I came home every night and acted stressed, rubbing my temples, playing the part of the failing businessman. Sarah watched me with this predatory pity in her eyes. She thought I was crashing, and she wanted to jump ship before the debt became her problem too. 2 weeks later, I walked into the kitchen to find a manila envelope on the counter. Sarah was sitting there, sipping tea, looking colder than I'd ever seen her. "I can't do this anymore, Mark," she said, sliding the papers toward me. "The stress, your failing business. I need stability." I looked at the papers. Divorce, irreconcilable differences. "Is this what you really want?" I asked, my voice completely flat. "It's for the best," she replied. She was already dreaming of the settlement. She had her own lawyer, a shark named Miller. They moved fast. They wanted the discovery of assets immediately. I complied with a smile. 3 days later, I got a frantic call from her. "Mark, what is this? The bank records? The debt? Where is the money?" I told her we should talk with our lawyers present. We met in a sterile conference room. Sarah looked haggard. Miller looked annoyed. "My client is entitled to half of the marital estate," Miller began. "Absolutely," I said, leaning back. "But as you can see, the estate is currently underwater." I laid out the documents. The house was leveraged to the hilt. The tech shares were gone, reinvested into trusts that were legally shielded. The cash was tied up in a 10-year startup lockup. "Based on current valuations," I said calmly, "I actually have a net worth of negative $200,000. Since we're splitting everything 50-50, Sarah, I believe you owe me $100,000 to cover your share of the business debt." The silence in the room was deafening. Sarah's face went from pale to a sickly shade of gray. "You did this on purpose," she hissed. "I made business decisions, Sarah, just like you made a lifestyle decision." She realized it then. She wasn't getting a payout. She was going to walk away with nothing but her own, a modest salary and a share of my debt. The exit she had spent months planning was now a trap. That evening, she came back to the house. She tried to be the woman I married 10 years ago. "Mark, honey, I think we reacted too quickly. We're both stressed." She tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. "I was just scared about our future," she whispered. "Let's tear up the papers. Let's work on us." I looked at her, and for the first time, I felt nothing. No anger, no love, just the cold satisfaction of a job well done. "The papers are already filed, Sarah. You made sure of that. But I'll withdraw the petition," she cried. "We can fix this." "You don't understand," I said, picking up my keys. "I don't want to fix it. I was waiting for you to leave so I didn't have to be the bad guy. I've already rented an apartment. The house will be sold to cover the loan. You're going to be fine, Sarah. You're young, you're smart, but you're also broke." She started screaming then, calling me a monster, a manipulator. I just walked out the door. I spent the night at a hotel eating a steak and watching a documentary. The divorce went through 6 months later. She tried to fight the trusts, but the legal ironwork was too strong. She walked away with her car and a mountain of legal fees. Last week, the failed startup I invested in was acquired. The debt vanished, and the trusts for my kids tripled in value. I'm sitting on a balcony in Cabo right now, looking at the ocean. Sarah texted me yesterday, asking if we could grab coffee and catch up. I blocked the number. The best part of revenge isn't the fire, it's the cold.